We are live at the plaza where self-proclaimed Princess Rua is farming engagement from the locals. She calls herself royalty unironically. She soaks up the glaze, but do not be fooled. She is actually a walking red flag with a massive crush on a guy who wants her deleted from his life. She announces her new unit, Princess Rua and her cheerful servants. Yes, she actually named it that. Subtle. She realizes she almost forgot the servant part. She panic pivots to introduce her partner, Minato Amane. Amane steps up, shaking so hard she is practically vibrating. She stammers out a plea for mercy. Maximum nervous energy. But then, Rua freezes. She senses a disturbance in the force. The crowd goes ballistic. Amane just lifted her bangs. That is it. One hair flip and the audience is captured. Instant critical hit. Rua is livid. She is staring daggers, thinking, I am the carry. She is just an NPC. I am the one with the talent. She tries to stop the bleeding, screaming her tagline to force the spotlight back on her before she loses the lead. It is useless. The chat is spamming, who is she? And she is cute. Rua has officially been ratioed on her own stage. The reviews are in and they are toxic. Fans agree Amane gaps Rua in vocals and dance. Even Kazuma in the back calls it total defeat. Here's the kicker. While the princess was chilling with her feet up, thinking she had this in the bag, Amane was in the lab grinding XP, morning, noon, and night. The result? God-tier movement. Divine aura. She did not just show up, she took over the server. Kazuma runs the diagnostics in his head. He realizes this match was over the second the challenge was accepted. They tried to step into the Cattier Queen's lobby. That is like challenging a hacker to a 1v1 on their own server. You are just asking to get deleted. Now they are drowning in the pressure. Kazuma watches the disaster unfold, remembering he made the exact same misplay back in the tutorial levels. The event kicks off, but Kazuma skips the cutscene. He spots a squad of agents glitching through the crowd like bad AI pathfinding. He ditches the NPCs and flanks the enemy team. A no entry sign blocks the path, but collision detection does not apply to main characters. Backstage, the raid leader is tilting hard. His team is offline, so he rushes the stairs to drag the idol off stage himself. He thinks he has a clear shot, but he runs face first into a firewall. Kazuma is waiting in the shadows, arms crossed and blocking the path like a paywall. The scene is absolute carnage. Kazuma is chilling against the truss, while bodies are scattered across the floor like common loot drops. He looks the survivor dead in the eye. He knows they are Takayashiki hired guns, sent to nerf Amane because she is absolutely gapping the princess. The suit freezes. He cannot believe a high school kid just read his entire playbook. The fear in his eyes is top-tier content. The man tries to speak, but Kazuma cancels his life subscription with a brutal elbow to the face. That is an instant game over. As the goon ragdolls, Kazuma spits facts. The Takayashiki family needs to upgrade their security because these guys are hard-stuck bronze tier. With the trash taken out, Kazuma shifts into full Overwatch mode. He thinks to himself that if anyone tries to crash this party, they are getting deleted. He scans the rigging and checks the exits, calculating every possible angle for a surprise attack. He vows to guard her big moment, but honestly, she doesn't need a shield anymore. The crowd is already hypnotized, and she has them in a literal chokehold of charisma. She is radiating pure, unfiltered star power. Kazuma watches from the shadows, finally letting out a breath he has been holding for 10 pages. She is absolutely unstoppable right now. But the pressure starts to mount, so Kazuma decides to step up as the ultimate hype man. He screams a lung-busting cheer from the pit, snapping her right back into the zone with sheer volume. Of course, we can't have a perfect show without a little cringe. Rua loses the war against gravity, slips, and executes a spectacular faceplant. That is 10 out of 10 form right there. Despite the blooper reel ending, the concert wraps up as a certified banger. You love to see it. Morning hits, and the corporate propaganda machine is spinning full tilt. Kazuma checks the headlines, and wow, it is absolute garbage. They are glazing Rua like she did not just faceplant into the floor, while completely erasing Amane's legendary set. It is a classic Teikai music cover-up job. Dirty tactics to protect their cash cow. Kazuma freezes. Oh no, he is not letting them slide on this one. The joke is on them though. You cannot censor raw talent in the age of social media. The algorithms picked a side, and Amane is trending worldwide, baby. The normies swarm her, obsessing over that cat ear clip. She is literally suffering from success. Kazuma watches from the sidelines, hiding a proud grin. That is our girl. Check the power shift. With the internet watching, the school hierarchy just got flipped on its head. The princess is seething in the corner, realizing she just got checkmated by a nobody. She knows the math. If she bullies the viral idol now, she gets cancelled into oblivion. Amane is officially untouchable. The internet mob is her armor now, but then the logic kicks in. Kazuma realizes, wait, he is actually the liability here. Rua runs this town. If he keeps beefing with the boss, Amane is the one who catches the stray bullets. So he makes the hard call. He decides to ghost the situation, stepping back to let her shine without his target on her back. Amane senses the distance instantly, and just like that, the vibe died. Kazuma commits to the ghosting strategy, keeping his head down to dodge the drama. But Amane literally parts the sea of NPCs like a linebacker to chase him down. He tries to play dumb, but she traps him. She is shaking, sweating, and absolutely terrified, but she forces the words out anyway. She corners him after class. The mission isn't over. She demands he help her practice again. Kazuma is confused since the event ended, but she drops the tactical nuke. She's quitting the idol game to become a serious voice actress. She needs a practice partner for the new audition, and she is specifically drafting him for the role. Kazuma's brain short-circuits from the pressure. He slips up and calls her Amane-chan. Rookie mistake. Instant regret. She grabs him and shuts that down immediately. She hates the cutesy nickname. Strictly professional, she flipped the script instantly. She leaned in close, face burning red, and dropped a demand that shattered the atmosphere. She wanted him to use a specific nickname, Amanyan. The cringe levels spiked so high they were audible. Every single student in that hallway froze like the server just crashed. Rua witnessed the crime from down the hall. Her eyes widened, processing the betrayal frame by frame. She went absolutely ballistic, screaming about theft like someone just looted her inventory. Kazuma tried to apply basic logic to the situation. He asked if a simple haircut had actually rewired her neural pathways. Her response? She threw up a cat paw pose and giggled. Yeah, logic has officially left the chat. She switched to full offense. She slammed into his chest, pinning him hard against the metal lockers. She grabbed his collar, staring deep into his soul, and demanded he take full responsibility for the monster he had unleashed upon the world. That was a critical hit on the spectators. Rua's system couldn't process the sheer NTR energy radiating from the scene, and she straight up disconnected from reality. The panicked students started screaming for a medic because the princess just got sent to the lobby. With the chaos of the big event finally in the rearview mirror, the calendar decided to speedrun straight into June. Amane is officially going nuclear. She is on that absolute grind set, juggling idol concerts and high school exams like it's nothing. The girl isn't even breaking a sweat, and that spicy little near miss at the entrance? Oh, it definitely stirred the pot. Everyone was holding their breath, waiting for the drama bomb to drop, but the school didn't explode just yet. Kazuma is trying to enjoy 5 seconds of peace, living that quiet loner life. But the classroom NPCs have other plans, especially Asano, who is screaming his lungs out about his waifu fantasies. Enter Ayacha, literally perching on a desk like she owns the school. She smells the desperation on this guy and shuts him down instantly while the whole class grabs popcorn. Asano tries to salvage his dignity by listing her stats like she is a Pokemon card, talking about fashion and dance skills like they matter. But she cuts him off cold because she already has a boyfriend. Emotional damage. The class rubs salt in the wound because her guy is a college student. Asano is completely out of his depth and offers to buy her tea. She laughs in his face and pulls out a designer clutch worth 1,000 teas just to flex on his poverty. She brags about the price tag and the clique eats it up. Kazuma watches from the back, disgusted. These scholarship elites think they can be as loud and obnoxious as they want just because they have status. But here is the kicker. She is sitting in someone else's seat. And that book she is holding? It is the rare gem Kazuma personally rescued from the dust of the underground archive. He knows she is dying to read it. He hesitates for a split second, weighing the drama, then decides to intervene. He calls out her government name, Yaragi. He points it out plain and simple, "Not your seat, move." She looks at him like he just spoke an alien language, completely baffled that an NPC would dare give her orders. She snaps, calling him a gross loner and refusing to budge until the bell. Kazuma remembers her icy glare from karaoke and realizes she genuinely hates him. Logic is not going to work here, so he switches to manual mode. He sweeps her off her feet, literally, a full-blown princess carry in the middle of class. Bro really said, "Fine, I will do it myself." She is panicking, but he just leans in with zero hesitation. He tells her to act while she still can, stepping into her personal space until she melts. Absolute menace energy. Ayacha's brain finally reboots from the princess carry, and she chooses violence. She screams in his face, calling him a lonely lapdog to hide her embarrassment. You can practically see the steam coming out of her ears. The boss music starts playing. Rua enters the chat with a smile that is way too bright for this level of tension. It is actually scary how calm she looks. The NPCs in the background smell the drama. Minato decides to mark her territory, sliding in to ask if her kazoo caused trouble. She is absolutely loving every second of this. Ayacha tries to panic diffuse the situation, but Kazuma shuts that down instantly. He looks Minato dead in the eye. He clarifies he belongs to absolutely no one. Sigma rule number 1, never let them claim you. Then he turns the barrel toward Rua and drops the nuke. He tells her they are just strangers now. Rua looks like she took a critical hit. The shock turns into silent tears. She cannot hold it back. She breaks down, asking why he has to be so ruthless in front of the entire class. "It is getting awkward for everyone watching," she snaps, screaming that he sided with some trash voice actress instead of her. She confesses she cares, pouring her heart out right there in the room. Talk about a public meltdown. Kazuma stays ice cold. He tells her the rule has not changed. He stands with the ones who actually grind for their dreams. You stick a fork in her, she is done. Kazuma ignores the gasps and doubles down. He calls her a spoiled pig one last time, declaring he is cutting ties to reclaim his freedom. He grabs a magazine, ready to finally grind for himself. He hits the books, well, the job listings, trying to find an honest day's work to pay the bills. Then he spots the numbers. A Butler Cafe with massive pay. It is ironic, really. He spent his childhood being forced to serve her family, mastering every servant skill in the book. He is basically a smurf in a starter lobby. He circles the ad. It is a trek, but he is not wasting that experience. He shows up, flashes a smile, and the manager hires him instantly. He starts this weekend. The manager is practically worshiping his politeness stats. She explains the meta. It is a tiny map, just 2 players on the floor. She swears his partner is a sweet, dependable senior. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we call a massive red flag. Kazuma steps up for the first shift, actually hoping for a competent teammate for once. He breaches the door like he is storming a dungeon. Suzuki here to carry the team. Then he spots the maid by the window. She freezes. Brain.exe stops working completely. The broom hits the deck. It is Ayacha. She is staring at him like a deer in headlights. The dependable senior is the one person guaranteed to make his life absolute chaos. But her brain instantly rewrites reality. She decides this is not a coincidence, it is a love test. She vows to become the ultimate worker just to win his heart. Delusion level 100. Hiragi is having a complete system failure. Caught in 4K wearing the frills, she tries to pull rank on her junior, but it is hard to look tough when you are dressed for tea time. She is absolutely mortified. He tries to break the tension, and she finally snaps. She screams at him to just laugh at her already, convinced she looks absolutely ridiculous in that getup. But my guy does not flinch. He hits her with the reverse Uno card, asking why he would ever mock someone who is working their tail off. Absolute class act. Hiragi's brain melts. She stammers that it is just for the cash, desperately trying to save face. He ignores her excuses and points to the scoreboard. The windows, the lights, the hidden corners, everything is spotless. Then he drops the receipts. He points out her red, chapped hands. That isn't a casual gig, that is pure effort. He even spots the dirt on her knees from scrubbing the floor. She is completely exposed as a hard worker, so she panics and calls him annoying just to shut him up. She wastes zero time. She barks orders at him to suit up immediately because she has a mountain of training to cram into his brain before the doors open. It is a race against the clock. Instead of complaining about the workload, he just smiles. He thanks her for the opportunity. Look at this guy. He is staring down a firing squad of dirty dishes and saying thank you. What a polite dude. The shop opens and Hiragi switches into pro mode. She is locking down complex pasta orders without breaking a sweat. Her movements are optimized. No wasted frames. She manages the angry crowd waiting for seats, then snaps to the register to handle the cash. She is absolutely carrying this establishment. She is the tank, the healer, and the damage dealer all at once. Watching her work, he realizes something huge. She isn't faking this energy. She is genuinely happier here than she ever is in that boring classroom. He thinks, so this is where she belongs. Seeing that smile lights a fire under him. He grabs a stack of plates. He tells himself, do not drop anything. He swears he will not be the dead weight that slows her down. But the second the lunch rush dies, she crashes hard, face down on the counter. System shutdown, blue screen of death. He asks if it is always this brutal, and she nods. The fact that she juggles this 9-to-5 grind with the dance club is honestly terrifying. She is running on pure caffeine and willpower. She reboots instantly though. She claims it was easy because she is a literal genius. Humble as always. Then she catches him off guard. She praises his speed. She insists he was not a burden at all. He was actually a lifesaver. That compliment hits him harder than a truck. Just when the vibes were chilling out, Hiragi remembers she is supposed to be dramatic. She slams the emergency brake on the conversation. Leaning over the rail like she is about to drop a diss track, she starts screaming. Her logic is flawless. They have to be enemies because he cut ties with Rua. Our boy keeps his cool, ice in his veins. He admits he dropped Rua like a bad habit, sure, but he looks at her with that bored expression and insists that just because he dumped the toxic trash doesn't mean he is looking to scrap with the whole squad. Hiragi starts spiraling, grasping at straws. She brings up his karaoke rage quit from earlier as hard evidence. In her head, walking out of a song is a declaration of war. She is convinced he hates their guts. He doesn't even blink. He looks her dead in the eye, analyzing the panic on her face, and tells her she is tripping. The scanner results are back, and there is zero hate detected. He lays out the facts on the table. Rua, that absolute pig, orchestrated this whole mess from the start. He is just connecting the dots for her. You can practically hear the gears turning in Hiragi's head. She finally realizes she wasn't a player in this game. She was just a pawn following orders. The realization hits her like a truck. And just to clear the air, he drops the tactical nuke. He doesn't hate her. In fact, he actually admires the hustle. Hiragi is absolutely smurfing in the butler role right now. The junior maid is practically worshipping the ground she walks on, begging for the secrets to her efficiency. It is honestly embarrassing how good she is. But then, she switches gears. Hiragi throws on the maid fit and warns the rookie to brace himself. Class is in session, and she is not grading on a curve. Later, she corners him in the break room like a detective interrogating a suspect. She noticed he swapped shifts the second a specific guy walked in. He claims he was just dodging work, but Hiragi calls cap immediately. She knows his game. She presses him for the truth, staring into his soul. She knows he is not a slacker, so he must be hiding a serious reason. The math just does not add up. Finally, he spills the beans. That last customer was not just drinking tea, he was a full-blown creep with a hidden camera in his bag. Suzuki clocked the lens glinting in the light and shifted his body to block the view. Total defensive play. Hiragi tries to argue that they have to tolerate it for business, but Suzuki shuts that down hard. He tells her to stop being a martyr. Next time the stalker shows up, he is taking point. No debate allowed. That level of protection hits her right in the heart. Critical hit. She turns into a blushing mess, realizing he is actually a total gentleman under that rough exterior. But naturally, the doorbell interrupts the moment. Feelings off. Customer service mask back on. Welcome to the cafe. The piece lasts exactly 5 seconds. Amane bursts in looking like she owns the deed to the building, ready to inspect Suzuki's new grind. The poor coworker in the back nearly flatlines trying to process the sudden VIP arrival. Hiyaragi spots a familiar face in the crowd and her operating system crashes. Total blue screen of death. She knows if she gets recognized in that maid outfit, it is game over for her reputation. Suzuki reads the room instantly. He grabs her before she can reboot and tactically relocates her toward the break room. He covers the retreat like a pro. Crisis averted. Back at the table, Amane is living her best life with a cream soda. She admits she did not just come for the sugar rush. She has a massive job later and needed to farm some morale points by looking at Suzuki in a tuxedo. She flexes her stats, bragging about landing 3 regular voice acting roles. Suzuki gives her the supportive nod. The vibe shifts. She remembers the real reason she is worried. She asks if Rua has been sniffing around. Apparently, the toxic ex-manager took a random 2-week vacation. For a control freak like that, silence is not peaceful. It is suspicious. It screams scheming villain arc. She warns Suzuki to keep his guard up. She checks the clock and realizes she is late for the grind. She scrambles to leave. Suzuki tries to wave her off professionally. She launches a surprise grapple attack. She squeezes the life out of him right in the middle of the lobby.
He is stunned.
She pulls back with a grin. That hug was not just for show. Her battery is now at 100%. Max power achieved. She bounces out the door, finally free from the chains of her past. Suzuki watches her go. He realizes she is finally acting like her true self. His expression goes dark. If that pig from the agency tries to drag her back into the mud, Suzuki is not just going to stop him. He is going to permanently delete him from the server. Up in the VIP section, Hiragi is witnessing the tea spill in real time. She peeks out from behind a pillar, absolutely shook by the scene downstairs. Her brain finally connects the dots. That wasn't just some random NPC. That is Minato Amane, the rising star voice actress from their school. She remembers hearing rumors about Suzuki having high-tier connections. She honestly thought it was just Cap until this exact moment. She slumps back into the corner, running the calculations. The chemistry down there was undeniable, but here is the kicker. Suzuki kept his mouth shut. He didn't leak her secret maid identity to the popular girl. That level of loyalty hits different. She feels the heat rising in her cheeks. She realizes that maybe, just maybe, Suzuki isn't a total creep. He is actually a solid dude. Time for a timeline cleanser. We are live on YouTube with the idol queen herself, Rua Hime. She is flexing over 1 million subs and dropping wisdom she definitely stole from a fortune cookie. Apparently working hard is important, groundbreaking stuff. But the content takes a serious turn. She realizes that to protect her squad, she needs absolute power. So she hit up her grandpa, secured the funding, and announced a 2-week training arc starting tomorrow. She signs off, praying the excitement doesn't send the old man's blood pressure into the stratosphere. The chat instantly passes the vibe check. The simps are confused about the workout, but let's be real, they are ready to worship.